Welcome to Movie Recall. In today's video, we will be going through the 2002 movie Reign of Fire. It's time to recall. Let's get started, turn on subtitles, and spoilers ahead. The movie starts and we are taken to an underground construction in London around the year 2008. We go on to see a woman named Karen with her son Quinn. Karen is the woman in charge for this operation. Quinn is sad as he goes on to tell his mother that he was unable to get the scholarship. His mother is upset upon hearing this because Quinn's dad does not live with them anymore, and it is really difficult for the boy's mother to bear his expenses. They are then approached by a worker who goes on to tell Karen that there seems to be a problem in number 4, and the woman goes with the man to see what is going on. There is a worker who is really mean and tells Karen that she should not have told him to dig here because this place is already dug up and this is a huge hole. Quinn also walks in and the man starts being rude to the boy, asking him if he has a death wish because the boy of his age should not be down there. Quinn tells the man not to be rude to others just because he is too scared to go down the big hole. The man then tells Quinn that if he thinks he is so brave, why would he not go down the cave himself? Quinn grabs the torch and walks into the cave. These caves are huge, and as he walks on, he sees fire, and the next thing he sees, there is a dragon. This is how a huge hibernating dragon is discovered and springs to life, instantly incinerating all construction workers with its fiery breath. The only survivor is the 12-year-old Quinn Abercrombie, whose mother was the chief of the construction crew. Quinn and his mother are suddenly trapped in a shaft elevator and his mother is crushed when the dragon escapes. Soon, thousands of them work their way through Europe and eventually the rest of the world, burning everything, feeding on the ash, and multiplying at an exponential rate. The world powers use their most powerful weapons, but this only hastens the destruction of the planet. The archaeologists go on to learn that these dragons were the creatures who put an end to the dinosaurs as well. They put an end to all those creatures billions of years ago and then went into hibernation. It seems as if now they have woken up. The powers of the world have used atomic missiles to finish off these creatures, but it was not a success, and on top of that, it has rendered a big part of the world uninhabitable for all humans. Time goes by just like that, and it has been several years as we are taken to 2020, where we see that Quinn is now a grown-up man. The adult Quinn leads a colony of survivors in a medieval stone castle in Northumberland, a lonely bastion of mankind, afraid of the sky and the dragons that could attack at any time. Their hope is to outlast the dragons, wait until they die out again, as they presumably did several times before, and go into hibernation. The cities are now empty. There are no crowded areas around anymore because whenever they see a crowd, they burn them to ashes. All the people now try to live in areas that are hidden and hard for the dragons to find because they are too secluded from the cities. In this new form of life, they have to face many challenges just to be able to survive, and the biggest challenge of them all is their hunger. Unfortunately, the people are beginning while waiting for their crops to ripen. Quinn finds it difficult to keep members of his colony from harvesting from their crops before they've matured. He goes on to tell them that this is not the time to reap the crops, and if they do that, they're going to have to face many problems in the next season, and it is very much possible that they starve to death. One of the men goes on to say that he has already lost one of his kids and his wife, adding that he does not want to lose another member of his family. Quinn then goes on to tell him that if he steps outside the gate, he will never be allowed to come in again. One morning, a small team sneaks out to harvest tomatoes. They draw the attention of an attacking dragon that burns a few of them and torches most of the remainder of the crop. Quinn and his people now know that they have been attacked, so Quinn and his friend Creedy rescue the survivors in armored vehicles using firefighting water cannons and flame-proof suits. However, before they are able to get out of there, the dragons have destroyed their crops and killed their group mates as well. One day, Quinn and his mates see some armored vehicles approaching. They seem to have war tanks as well. Quinn thinks that these people are from the armed forces. As it turned out, they are soldiers, but they do not belong to the official army. They work on their own now. They are a team of American dragon slayers. They are led by Denton Van Zandt, and they have brought a Chieftain tank and an Augusta A-109 helicopter piloted by a woman named Alex. Van then goes on to demand to talk to the leader of the group. Quinn and his people are both surprised and a little happy to see a group of other people because they were not aware that there were other people too in the area. At the same time, Quinn and his people do not want to let these people pass because they also fear being looted by these people in case they are a group of robbers. Quinn finally comes out to talk to Van Zandt. He goes on to tell the man to leave because he is not going to allow him to enter the fort. He adds that they are already short on food and more people would just mean starvation. Van Zandt goes on to tell him that he used to be in the US Air Force, and one day, when they are flying out with their team, they were attacked by the dragons and they had to do an emergency landing. In the attack, many of his people were killed. He says that he just needs a roof on their heads so that they could help rest and repair their weapons as well. Quinn taunts him, saying that he has told a good story, now he can leave. Van Zandt shows Quinn a dragon's tooth he wears around his neck, saying it came from the first one he killed in the American Midwest. Van Zandt had figured out a way to attack dragons when they are most vulnerable. He goes on to say that dragons have excellent vision at both day and night, but during magic hour, their vision is impaired and what they see is unfocused. The magic hour is actually the hour between night and day. The evening time. Quinn finally lets them inside the fort. That evening, they decide to kill a dragon. They get on their helicopter, and there are 3 of Van's men on that helicopter that are going to throw a net on the dragon to trap his wings, and when he is unable to fly, it will fall from hundreds of feet and die. The plan, however, does not work, and the dragon flies towards the location where Quinn is with his horse. Van Zandt talks to him through the radio, telling him to guide the dragon to him somehow and he will kill it. Quinn right away gets on his horse and starts hauling ass towards Van Zandt. Van Zandt's team use a sophisticated triangulation system using small remote tracking devices that allow parachuting commandos to draw dragons into the range of Van Zandt's arsenal of weapons. 2 of the 3 skydivers are killed by the dragon, 1 lands safely, and the operation is successful. Van Zandt himself kills the dragon when Quinn on his horse is able to lure it close enough to a large harpoon cannon. The inhabitants of the castle, having not seen a dragon slayed, celebrate the victory that night, only to be chastised by Van Zandt, who is disgusted by their behavior, having lost 3 of his team in the battle. He goes on to say that they should not be celebrating this at all. They killed 1 dragon and lost 3 good men, which only means that the humans are going to die before the dragons do. Quinn is then called by Van Zandt, who goes on to take him to a meeting room where he tells Alex to educate him on the dragons. The woman goes on to tell him that the dragon they killed today was a female. She says that they have killed over 200 dragons and all of them were females. The woman goes on to say that there is only once they saw a male dragon and they saw fire coming out of his nose too. Alex says that they have to finish that male dragon. Their theory is that they are like fish. The female lay their eggs around the world, then the male comes and fertilizes them, leaving them with the theory that there is only a single male within the whole dragon population worldwide. Their intention is to find that one male dragon, and they might be able to get a life on this planet. If they are able to finish off that one big male dragon, they will never be able to procreate, and gradually this calamity will come to an end. Van Zandt says that they are going to have to go to London to finish off that dragon, but Quinn says that he is not leaving his people and his fort. Van Zandt gets pissed and leaves. Alex goes on to ask Quinn why on earth does he not want to go to London. He tells her that his mom used to be an engineer in London. She died at the hands of the first dragon that woke up from his hibernation. Alex now understands that this must be the same dragon. She then asks Quinn if he has seen the dragon, and he says yes. Later on, the next morning, Van Zandt requests that the members of the colony join him in hunting the male in London. All are reluctant, and Van Zandt announces he will choose volunteers. Quinn objects, and the two fight with each other, Van Zandt gaining the upper hand. Furious, Van Zandt leaves anyway. Van Zandt and his unit discover a roadblock on the desolate highway to London. Van Zandt then sends Alex to find a new way around. The male dragon soon arrives and annihilates nearly the entire army, breathing fire on Van Zandt's armored column and incinerating all but him alone. Alex comes running to the man and goes on to ask him where on earth are all their men. Van Zandt is now broken. He goes on to say that the single attack of that dragon has wreaked havoc on their whole team and all their high-tech weapons. The male dragon then goes on to follow their route back to the castle and destroys it. The castle inhabitants are however saved by hiding in an underground shelter that is designed to survive the intense heat. Quinn takes the kids to the bunker, but the door is locked and he is unable to go out. Quinn's dear friend Creedy is killed as he tries to go on to save more people in the castle. Creedy bravely slams the door to the basement shelter shut just as the male's fire fills the castle. The children are terrified and Quinn leads them all in their prayer to watch the skies. Quinn's people then hear someone outside and by now, that dragon has left. When they go out and see, it's Van Zandt, Alex, and some other surviving men. Quinn also comes out and Van Zandt goes on to tell Quinn that he was right. Quinn had actually told them that they would never be able to get London as the dragon would attack them on the way, and this is exactly what has happened. Now that Van Zandt has gone through it and lost all his men, he has realized that Quinn was right. Quinn then goes on to say that they will go to London and they will hunt down that dragon. Quinn remembers the time when he saw that dragon, the one male dragon who killed his mother. Quinn wants to kill that dragon. He says that the male dragon still lives in those caves because that is his house. Quinn also tells Van Zandt that he was also wrong about his theory where he thought the dragons are unable to see in the evening. Van Zandt says that he has realized that too. They use the helicopter to follow the coastline to the city unnoticed. They go on to see that the whole city is now in ruins. They also see that there is not one but hundreds of dragons in this city, and the group notices that all these dragons are now really hungry too. Quinn notices that these dragons are starving now. They are so hungry that they've resorted to cannibalism. All the dragons are seen flying away in search of food. The group decides that this is the right time to attack that male dragon because all the others are away. As they look over the ruins of the London skyline, the male suddenly appears and eats one of the females from the hundreds that are roosting in the city's towers. They get inside those caves and start running to the cave where that big male dragon resides. They then go on to talk about their plan, and the plan is to fire an explosive charge placed on a crossbow into the dragon's mouth during the brief moment it inhales, drawing air to produce fire. Van Zandt will be the bait, stationing himself atop a small smokestack. His one shot with a crossbow misses entering the dragon's mouth. The dragon rushes Van Zandt's position. Van Zandt fanatically leaps from his perch, attacking the dragon with no more than his axe and is swallowed in midair. Van Zandt is no more with them as Alex and Quinn look on in horror. The dragon then turns his attention to Quinn and Alex. The two are able to lure the dragon to street level. The dragon hunts them, however it is magic hour when the dragon's vision is impaired. Quinn realizes that Van Zandt was actually right. After recovering the dropped crossbow bolts, Quinn is able to fire one into the dragon's mouth where it explodes, killing the beast. Later, Quinn and Alex erect a radio tower on a hill overlooking the North Sea. There has been no dragon sighting for over 3 months. Jared arrives to say that they have contacted a group of French survivors who want to speak to their leader. Quinn officially makes Jared the community leader and dedicates himself to rebuilding civilization with Alex. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.